In this episode, we'd like to introduce you to the Diesel Dutchess and share with you some of the steps we took to renovate her from a 1984 retro RV to our modern and cozy home away from home. Hello friends, and welcome to our channel. We're Marianne and Gord, two hopeless adventurers from Northern Ontario. We invite you to come along with us as we renovate our 1984 Ford E350 motorhome, the Diesel Dutchess, and then hit the road with no destination in mind, just following the sun and the warmer weather and exploring all the nooks and crannies along the way. Are you ready? The time is now.
Welcome to our tour of the Diesel Dutchess. I'll go over some of the technical improvements we made, and Marianne will go over the cosmetic improvements we made on the inside. We'll start with, she's a Ford E350 General Coachworks Citation 23ML. It's a 23ML, but it actually measures about 25.5 feet on the outside, which I think is pretty standard for RVs. It's got a 6.9 IDI diesel, non-turbo, makes a couple horsepower, not too many. Not too fast on the hills, but we're not going anywhere in a hurry anyway, but it gets along just fine. Gets decent mileage. And let's go around and have a look at things we did on the outside. We put on some fancy hubcaps, Amazon specials. They just push on, and they also push off on their own, so I don't recommend those. The front ones seem to stay on. The back ones, I keep losing sets, so I gave up on those, but that was one cosmetic improvement we did on the outside. Built a little mirror extension here because with the awning on, the mirror was in too far, didn't work very well, so a little bit aluminum modification there, but that did the trick. Got the mirror out a little bit more. Get around the awning here. The old step was a steel slide out step, which was really chintzy and didn't slide very well. So I welded up an aluminum solid, nice solid step. And the door used to have a window. I took that out, built a plug. We filled that all in with body filler and so on, which you'll see in the videos where we break everything down. And Marianne had the sticker designed and printed vinyl, and we stuck that on the door. The old door, it was more faded than the rest of the RV, so that really spruced that up. Originally, the cabinet on this side that we completely redesigned had a 3-way fridge in there, propane, 120 volt and 12 volt, I guess, which wasn't even there when we got the RV. When we got the RV, it had just a 120 volt bar fridge in there, which we had to run the inverter all the time to keep our fridge cold, which worked, but we didn't really have enough solar for that, so it worked most of the time, but not all the time, and it was a small fridge. So we went to a bigger fridge, relocated the area, a 12 volt fridge, moved it back. So originally the vent was here for the propane fridge, and it was old and bent, so we had to kind of replace that anyway, so we got a new RV door and installed it there. Perfect place for a Time Is Now sticker. And I figured no better place than to put your Traeger pellet smoker on some nice heavy drawer slides. So we can plug that into the outside outlet right here. That's the original outlet of the RV. So it's right there to plug in. We can cook our steak, do the barbecuing, the smoking. It's got a cast iron flat top on it for frying, and it's right there by the door. Perfect setup. Moving back, this is the only exterior accessible storage we have on the RV. Originally, it was too small. Basically, we had the pellet smoker in there, and it took up most of the space in there, and it was a pain taking the pellet smoker in and out every time we wanted to use it. So that's way better. But then, now this is also way better too. The storage used to end here behind this toolbox, and the wood came up. As you could see on this side, the plywood came all the way up. What I did is I cut it out at the floor level, as you can see here, and across the back also, so it goes all the way in under our bed. So we got a lot of storage now. I got, you know, bins for the stinky slinky and extra electrical cords, all kinds of tools, my spare pallets, and a shop vac, of course, because you got to have one of those because you can blow up your kayaks and vacuum your stuff. And I did change around a bit of plumbing. As you can see, I had to adapt in the original 3/8 plumbing, which is kind of an odd thing, but I was able to adapt it into 1/2-inch PEX and redo a bit of plumbing on this side to add a bypass to the hot water tank for winterizing. Also, we go around to the back here. I figured while I was doing plumbing, I might as well add an exterior hose outlet, so that way if we need to wash our feet off or wash our mountain bikes off, whatever, we have a hose that has different settings on it too, which is kind of cool. So that's pretty handy. Then jacks, we added a couple stabilizing jacks, so when we're parked we can keep the rig level if we're a little bit off, or stop it from rocking. So nothing fancy there, a little bit hillbilly looking maybe, but that's how we roll. I just welded those right onto the bumper, and they stay on there all the time, so we don't need to take them off and load them in. Our takedown and setup is super fast. A couple mud flaps to protect the trailer, since we tow the enclosed trailer with the bikes in it. Those are just bolted onto the bumper. Did a bunch of things underneath too, wiring, reinforcing tanks, stuff like that, which you'll see in the specific videos of the renovations. Added a couple more tail lights to the back here because these old lights aren't very bright, and I wanted a little bit more visibility, so I added those lights on there also. And you know, if a bulb goes out, which I think we have one out on the other side right now, so I still have to fix that, but these ones are really bright anyway, so we're good to go. I got a couple traction mats up here. They came in a bag, so I just have that bungeed onto the ladder, and a beautiful sticker on the window there. The window we actually spray painted black from the inside because our bed headboard is there, so it doesn't really matter what's on there. You don't even see it from the inside. You'll see some high-end motorhomes, they have the diesel engine in the back, and they call that a diesel pusher. And our engine's in the front, and it has no power, so it's called a diesel pusher. And when we originally got the RV, we bought it used, of course. There was a rack, this rack was already built on the back, not covered, it was an open rack to put a generator on. So you had a generator sitting out in the weather. Because the old 6.9 doesn't have air conditioning from the factory, the only air conditioning we have is the roof unit. So if you want to run air conditioning when you're driving, you run the generator. Which is a little hillbilly too, but that's fine. And so for traveling, we decided we should have our generator covered in. And so we built this, or I built this box out of actually my old business sign. This is a Lumicore, which is really awesome material for building things. Nice and light, strong. And we got a Honda 3000 inverter there that's more than enough to run anything we have. And we can actually run it with the box closed. I have it vented on this side and on that side, so we can start it up, close the box, and lock it also when we're running the generator. As far as up on the roof goes, the roof has been completely resealed. We go through all that in the renovation videos. We took out all the fans in the ceiling, resealed, replaced, all the max air vents we took off. Well, we had to take those off to change the vents, of course. Also the air conditioning unit, the old rooftop air conditioning unit, completely took it out, cleaned it all out, resealed it, put it back in. And Added some wireless backup cameras also, which we have one on the back of the RV, one on the back of our trailer, which are just powered by the park lights. So as soon as you turn the park lights on, you get power to those backup cameras. And those things are lifesavers. I didn't think I needed them, but they make backing up so much easier, especially when you have the trailer on. You can kind of get an idea what angle the trailer is going at. And then also up there, we had a 100-watt solar panel previously, which was okay for maintenance. We had to run the generator sometimes to supplement power, especially when we were running our 120-volt fridge all the time. So I took off that 100-watt panel, added two 210-watt panels, so we got 420 watts of power up there. And also put in MPPT charge controller, so we're running in at 24 volts, even though we have a 12-volt battery system. So that ups the input a little bit more. So like today we were down to 93%, which we really never really get much lower than that. We have 450 amp hours of battery, but we took off for a couple hours and we were back I don't know, 2 hours after we left maybe or something, and our batteries are at 100% again. So they charge pretty fast. We got lots of power. On this side, we did take out all the windows, resealed them all with new butyl tape. When we started painting on the inside, the interior trim needs to be removed so you can paint the walls. Marianne was concerned that we would remove the trim and the windows would fall out, and I said, well, no, that's not going to happen. That butyl tape sticks like you wouldn't believe. Like, it sticks to everything. So we took all the interior trim off and painted the walls and went to bed. We woke up in the morning and the big dining room window was on the ground in the gravel. For some, I don't know how, but it didn't break. There was a garden hose laying there. Maybe that broke the fall or something, but it didn't break. We're lucky because I don't know if we could even replace that. But we rebutyled them all, put them all back in, so that's all resealed. We drove through 7 days of rain and it didn't leak a drop, so I think everything's sealed well. That was the test. On this side, just the standard doors, water, power, dual fuel tanks. We carry quite a bit of fuel. I think 22 gallons in the rear tank, 18 gallons in the front. Which in liters, 80 and 60, something like that, I think. This was the original 12-volt battery, house battery door. There was room for one battery in there. We don't use any of that anymore. I've pulled all the wires out of there. I just use that for storing my gloves for sewer dumps and a couple miscellaneous, roadside things. Propane door, power plug-in, power cord for plugging in, and CB antenna. We added a CB, got the antenna there. I actually had it mounted a little lower and it didn't really work, so I moved it up, and you can see the edge of the solar panels there. Both of our panels are mounted on this side. We have enough room to really put that much on the other side too if we wanted to, but I don't think we really have any need to. We're making plenty of power, and I think that pretty much does it for the tour of the outside. Let's now see the technical aspects of the inside. Oh, maybe the coolest technical aspect. We have a little light down here for the steps and one on the side on the inside that when we open the door there's a switch that turns them on, which is super handy at night. The other one being right here, so it lights up your steps nice at night. So come on in. So a little quick run through of the technical improvements on the inside. Like I said, when we were on the outside, we changed all the ceiling fans. They actually weren't fans, they were just vents. The one in the bathroom was a fan, but it was one of those little wee piddly fan things that make a whole bunch of noise but don't really move any air. So we went to these newer fans with the bigger fan blades in and out. So we have those on all three of our fans, the bathroom, the kitchen here, the above the cab. Then also we improved all the lights. We've put in these little LED lights, which are way brighter than the original, those ugly square and octagon ones that have regular bulbs in them. This is way better, way brighter, uses less power. We have aimable pot lights over top of the table, the kitchen workspace, the bed space for book reading. Switch there. This is the charge monitor or battery monitor, so shows our battery voltage. We have about 450 amp hour of battery. Generally we're at 100% most of the time or close to it. Like I say, we might get down in the 90s, but we make more power than we need most of the time. We have 450 amp hours of sealed lead acid batteries, which are mounted underneath the dinette seat here. So that's pretty full of 4 big batteries. And then under the table, against the outside wall of the table here, we have a box that covers the inverter, which is a 2000 watt Renogy. That inverter, I chose it because it's also a charger, so I didn't need a separate charger. So it's a 40 amp charger for the batteries. So when we're plugged in or running the generator, we can charge the batteries at 40 amps. The only thing we really can't run off the battery bank is the air conditioning. For a short time maybe, but it draws about 150 amps, which with a 450 amp hour battery bank, that's really taking too much out of your batteries at once. You should probably max out at about 100 there, I think, amps. So that's a little too much. We don't run that off the batteries. Our coffee maker also takes about 150 amps, which is a little too much too. So we got to run the generator to make coffee and air condition, which are both pretty important things sometimes. Over on this side, the RV originally had a big cabinet here, which we ripped down, and it had a chair here. We took that out, so that gave us a little better access into this area to put in with the wiring that was in the cabinet. I was able to put a 12 volt cigarette lighter style charger plug here, which we can charge. You can see we're charging helmet communicators, GoPro, so we can charge things up there. And then we have a little shelf to keep some miscellaneous little things, and then I was able to run the wires down inside the wall, replace, so we can have our outside light and our inside lights right by the door, which is a place that you would expect them to be, because up here I can never find them. Now, let's have a look at the improvements in the cockpit. So we did quite a bit of improvements in here. We took up all the carpet, took out the doghouse for the motor, did a bunch of mechanical work to the motor, which you'll see that in some of the renovation and improvement videos. While the doghouse was out, we took sound mat material, sound matted all the inside of the doghouse. The old diesel was pretty noisy running down the road before. The window seals were all shot, it leaked air. You had wind noise, you had engine noise, you had road noise. So we replaced all the window seals and all the door seals. Like I said, sound matted the doghouse, pulled out the carpet. Marianne was able to actually shampoo the carpet. It was in decent shape, so we left it. And sound matted the whole floor. So that made a huge difference on sound. Then the original seats that were in here were these big coach seats that really were big, kind of flowery and ugly and not comfortable. I found them totally uncomfortable. The seating position was brutal for me because the seat was really high. I couldn't put the sunshade down or I'd be looking about there, and it wouldn't go back because the dinette had a back on it that the seat would just run into. So I actually cut the whole back off the dinette, actually right down to the floor, rebuilt it with a dish in a little bit so my seat can go right into that pocket. And this is a folding, so my seat can fold back and I can sit in a way better position. So beyond the seats, we added some electronics, Pioneer stereo with some better speakers. We got some little door speakers, 6x9s in the back, so we can actually hear the stereo now. I wired in another power supply to the stereo so we can turn it on without turning on the vehicle key. so we can listen to the radio when we're parked. We got a GPS, which we didn't have at first when we did our trial road trip, and we realized pretty quick that navigating by your phones and actually staying on the road doesn't work very well. So I got this GPS, which has been great. We track back roads, route. That's the word, route. We route back roads, and it just keeps us going on these back roads because we don't really go on interstates. The old diesel, it'll go pretty fast, but it revs high, so we usually drive like maybe 60 miles an hour, 55, 60 miles an hour, which on these 75, 80 mile an hour interstates, you're kind of a slow poke. So, and we're not in a hurry, so we just take the back roads. Drink holder, we didn't have any drink holder up here, so I built up this little one out of wood. CB radio, we talked about on the outside. You get a little bit of info from truckers here and there, not a whole lot. You don't hear a lot of truckers on the radio anymore, but it's cool to have. And the backup camera, which I talked about on the inside, but we can get split screen with the back of the RV and the back of the trailer on there, which that's just awesome. And it's not expensive, definitely something worth having. Brake controller for the trailer. Our little trailer, it's only a 6x12 with a single axle, but it's got brakes, which is great. Brakes are good to have. And then the last thing, a footrest for Marianne. I just made it out of wood, but because on the van chassis the fender comes up over the wheel there, so you only have a little narrow space to put your feet. It's kind of awkward, and it was a little bit too low for her, so just a little thing for her to put her feet on to make all the trips that much more enjoyable. The over top of the cab, which was originally the bed, had a fold down mattress that covered over this area here. We had no use for a bed up there, so we just took out the mattress, closed off the sides, and we have storage bins all around. Added a little bit of LED strip lights, a roll down blind that makes things look better.
So welcome to our dinette, entranceway, living room, all in one. This little section got pretty much a full makeover. We started by painting the entire interior, so the ceilings, the walls. We did painted out all the cabinetry, gave it a little bit of a distressed look. And then we added a bunch of this white pine that Gord had actually milled between 15 to 20 years ago, and it had been just sort of sitting in one of our sheds for a very long time. And we came across it, decided to plane it down, sand it, and add it as a bit of a feature throughout the front part of the motorhome. So as you can see, we did all around the storage, upper storage here, and in and around our door. This section here originally had a swivel chair down here, as well as an upper cabinet. And we were really in need of some extra space for shoes, and just wanted to open up this space a little bit, you know, for us, just for our day-to-day, and also be able to swivel this chair around and use it as additional seating in the area. So we removed the cabinet in the chair. And did you know that all RV cabinets are actually attached from the roof side down? They're very, very hard to remove, and they make a big mess. But we did manage to get it out, so we did that. Built a little shoe rack with a live edge top on it from a local mill in our hometown. And then painted out all of the dinette seats, recovered the original seats cushions that were here, and then rebuilt our dining table. So this wood again is some of the white pine. I designed this one up just in Photoshop, created a big pattern from it, and then Gord and I cut it up, put it together. And we're new to woodworking. It's not really something that we do much. And so I didn't realize that when you leave wood filler out like this and not sand it off completely, it actually gives it an age distressed look. So it was a mistake that we're really happy with the results. Also in here, I made a bunch of new curtains all the way through. They work okay. They'll probably need a little bit of tweaking yet, but we can roll them down and open them at different levels, depending if, you know, a day like today where it's really sunny, we would probably, you know, lower it down a little bit. But it works really, really well. They're also room darkening and insulated, so it helps on the colder nights. Welcome to the kitchen. So the kitchen also got a huge makeover in here. So again, in this section, painted out all of the cabinets, gave it a little bit of a distressed look. And the walls, I re-wallpapered the walls. In the cabinet up here actually has what it used to look like once upon a time. Some sexy floral wallpaper, very retro. And we painted out the range hood, which was originally silver, I believe. Painted that out. And then we removed the countertop. So the countertop was actually in really good shape, but we had like a double sink that was, I think, 6 inches deep. They were really, really shallow. And they ran this way, which made it really difficult to do any dishes. You had no countertop whatsoever. So we ripped it out and we built new countertop out of the same white pine that we used on the walls, and then repositioned our sink and got a really nice sink. I think this one is 10 inches deep, I think, something like that. And so put a new sink in. We did position it back a little bit, just so that it would give us a little bit of countertop. We put in some new taps, and we also put in some drinking water. So we do not have a filtration system in here. So what we did is, well, actually what Gord did is he put in a second water pump underneath the cabinetry. And we have it hooked up to the large 5-gallon refillable water bottles. And it works just great. So, and then on this wall, there was a cabinetry in here that really didn't work for us. Over here was where the fridge was located, and it held a small fridge with a microwave on the top. And then over here it had a small closet with a couple of drawers underneath. So it really didn't give us very usable space. And we also knew that we wanted to have a bigger fridge. So we started looking at it and started pulling things apart, and the next thing we knew, the whole cabinet came out. So we wanted to relocate the fridge over here. So we have a newer fridge, or a brand new fridge. This is a Unique. It is designed for off-grid, so it runs on 12 volt. It's awesome. I believe it's 9 or 10 cubic feet, so it's perfect for the two of us. And then over here we have a pantry system with the very important coffee pot. We actually have 2 plugins in here that were here originally, and it works perfect to store our coffee pot. And then just a couple of drawers down here. And then these here are very deep cubbies. These actually hold all of our spices. It has 2 bins per row. It works just great with a little lip on them. Nothing slides out. Again, these cabinets got a makeover with the new green paint, a little bit of distressing. Our stove is the original. She's a propane stove. She's nothing fancy. She has a little oven, which I don't think we've even used yet. I don't think, but we'll give her a go yet at some point. And yeah, she works great. So now we're in the bedroom. We really haven't moved very far. Kitchen, bedroom. But here we are. It's pretty simple. We put a new 12-inch Zenith Green Tea memory foam cooling mattress in here. We also lifted the bed frame even more to allow for more storage underneath. Originally, we only had a little bit of exterior storage. So we opened that all up, reconfigured underneath the bed. So now we have lots of exterior storage under the bed, and also room for a large bin just here underneath the bed that holds our pots, our toaster, bigger things like that. The back wall, it used to have a window, but we covered over the window on the outside. Actually, we painted it black, and then I got a piece of plywood, padded it, and covered it, and created a covered headboard for us. And then, oh, up here is our clothing storage, and the world's tiniest ceiling fan. Best Amazon find ever. It's loud, it's aggressive, and it works really, really well. In this corner, we have our TV. So we're able to watch it from bed, but we're also able to take it, swing it around, and watch it from our dinette. Okay, so now on to the bathroom. So our bathroom door was just a big brown slab door, which I decided needed something a little bit more. So I went into Photoshop and I designed this up. It's very similar just to a quilt pattern, and then got some 1/4-inch plywood, cut it into strips, stained it, and placed it, glued it on. And for my first attempt, I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. So come on into the bathroom. So in here, we do have a tub and a shower. And this wall here, this back wall, the side wall, this wall over here was all wallpapered. And this is what it looked like. Silver with flowers. The whole bathroom. So in the tub area, tub and shower area, I recovered everything with Rust-Oleum tub and tile. It's a refinishing product for your tubs and tiles, and it worked really, really well. It's super stinky. It's really thin, so it takes a bit of finessing, but it did the trick. And then the other walls, I went through and I used the same wallpaper on them and painted the rest of the walls white. We kept the original countertop, but gave the sink a new look, replaced the faucets both in the shower and here, painted the cabinetry, and then put in a new toilet with the foot flush.
So that's the Diesel Dutchess. Keep an eye on our channel for upcoming videos where we go into detail on different projects we did to renovate this RV.
And if you've made it this far in the video, thanks so much for watching, and please be sure to give us a like and a subscribe.
Friday night, and well, it's Saturday now. Or Saturday morning, 1 or 2 in the morning, and
the time is now. It's now.
And you didn't make her to Vegas.
Well, just like that GS, that deal up on Vancouver Island on that bike, all them parts. You can't always get what you want. And it's not over. We're still going.